we are talking about intonation. You ready? Welcome to Clarinet Ninja. Today, we're doing something really cool. We're going to talk about intonation from beginning stages to the most advanced stages. Step one, these are all going to be down. I'll have these indexed. Step one, you're just getting going on the clarinet. You're either young or you've just been playing for a couple years. I'll show you how to look at a meter, figure out whether you're in tune, what to do about it. Step two, as you develop a little bit more, as you start to get more advanced, you want to tune your ears, work with your ears, not your eyes. So we're going to play with some drones. We're going to hear how it sounds to play against a note and actually match that pitch. And step three, we're going to use multiple devices to do some really cool things to see where notes actually belong in more advanced situations. The tools I'm using for this video are the Tonal Energy app. It's $4 or $5, the best $4 or $5 you could possibly spend. That's running behind me over here. I'm also recording over here a tuner that is clipped to my bell. So it is only responding to the vibrations of my instrument and telling me where they are pitch-wise. I'm using my standard, RC Prestige, BD4, Goldmanad, Van Doren V12, whatever. None of that's super important, probably ever, but definitely for today. And we're going to talk about how to hear and hear if it's in tune, be able to replicate it, do it. The like button is available for this entire video. Smash it at any point you think there's something that you like about this. And the subscribe button is also available to you at any point in time. I'd love for more subscribers. I'd love for people to hear my crazy ideas about the clarinet. So that's available to you if you feel like it, and I hope you do. Let's get to it. One of the things we should get going right off the bat is this whole video is with tuning at 441, which is a specific choice on my part. In America, we tend to say that we play at 440. A lot of orchestras tune at 440. Some of them actually continue to play at 440. 440 is one of those frequencies that we've decided that's in tune. An A should be 440. Oftentimes, in many, many situations, if not most of them, we play higher than that. So what I do is I practice at 441, which means if I'm in one of those rare situations, and if a group is actually playing at 440, it is a wonderful group because it's difficult to keep the pitch at that level. Then I can find my way there. But a lot of other groups that are wonderful don't actually stay at 440. So I can go with them too. If you're always playing with a piano and the piano is tuned at 440, you got to play at 440. So there are different reasons to practice at different pitch levels. All the tuners that I have here, I've got one over here that is being recorded. I've got one behind me. We're going to use all of them, but they are all set to 441 because that's where I choose to practice. I suggest that you practice there too because I think it's actually a very practical choice, but entirely up to you. All of this still counts if you have it set at 440 or 450 or 430. Wherever you want to practice, go for it. My suggestion is 441. So anyway, you're going to see the number 441 on the tuners, and I didn't want you to be alarmed. The first step in tuning is when we're first getting going, when we're just learning how to play the clarinet, is play it, see if it's in tune. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in all the way. When we tune, we generally tune between the barrel and the upper joint. If we want to be higher or sharp, we're pushed all the way in, or some in further than we were. If we want it to be flatter, we make more of a space. That would be a lot of space. I would say I normally play a little bit pulled out, right about there. I find this to be a very good place, very usable for me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on a tuner what it looks like if you play sharp. So check it out. You see how the tuner is a little bit over to the right. Let's see if I can find another note to play, even sharper. When it gets closer to these triangles, you're getting in trouble on a tuner like this. We want it to be right in the middle, but if it's not, it's okay. But we do want to keep it kind of in between the lines there, in a big sense. But as we get better, we want to keep it more close. to straight up and down. This is how a traditional tuner meter works. Let me show you what it looks like if you play flat. I'm going to pull my instrument out so I get a real flat note. We're going to see how that looks on the tuner. Super flat. Way over here. Okay, so that's how it looks when we play sharp or flat. But, you know, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to move my arms here. It doesn't matter what it looks like because we don't tune with our eyes. The only thing that this kind of reference can get us is kind of in the ballpark of playing kind of in tune, which, you know, if you're watching this and you're just getting going on the clarinet, if you've been playing for just a couple of years or you are a young person, that's pretty good. Like, you'll be in the ballpark. You know, we can refine the specifics of tuning later, but we should be all kind of in the same ballpark, and that's what this does. Good. Step one, out of the way. Let's get into how to tune our ears, because that is the most important part about this. This is like tuning step two, and that is hearing a note and matching that pitch and hearing whether it's sharp or flat, because when we are playing music, we're looking at the music, but we're hearing it with our ears, and we need to be able to make these adjustments with our ears, not our eyes. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use a tuner that I happen to love very much. It's called the Tonal Energy Tuner. It is an app that you can put on your phone or your iPad or mobile device, and it's wonderful for a lot of reasons. I'm going to do a whole video on what I love about it. If you've seen my videos before, you've seen me use a particular function of this app that I think is terrific. Right now, we're going to make it play what I call drones, what I think a lot of people call drones. And it's just a note, and we're going to play our note with that note and match it. And I have connected it to a Bluetooth speaker, so it can make lots of noise. I can play full volume and hear myself and hear what it sounds like against that note. So let's fire it up. One last thing. If you are just getting going on the clarinet, you may not know that when we play a C, our tuners are going to register that as a B flat. That should not alarm you. That is normal. That's the way that it is. This is a B flat clarinet, which means when we play C, a B flat comes out of it. It takes a little getting used to, but once you get used to it, like, it just makes sense. So when we're playing a C, we're actually sounding what would be a B flat on the piano. A lot of people will just call that a B flat. We happen to call it a C because that's what we're looking at. That explains why these tuners are going to be set the way that they are. Sometimes when I say I'm going to play a note, the tuner will, well, not sometimes, all the time, will register it as a one step below that. Never let that alarm you. And most of you are probably used to that. Anyway, so we're going to put a B flat on the tuner. We're going to check out how to listen and figure out whether we're in tune. There we go. There's our B flat. I'm going to play a B flat along with it. I'm going to use my ears, see if I can find my place in tune. I'm a little on the low side, so I'm going to push in just a little bit. Let's see how that sounds. Terrific. So now let's take a listen to what that note sounds like if I push all the way in. Play a little sharp. I push all the way in. All the way in. All right, here we go. I dropped my microphone clip. Okay. So I'm going to start that note sharp, and I'm going to relax it. I'm going to lip it down, as they say. So I'm just going to voice it a little lower so it comes down. You should be able to hear how the notes rub against each other. It's like there's friction. They're fighting a little bit. And we want to make those notes get along. So we bring that note down, and you can hear those vibrations kind of come, so the notes blend together, and they sound in tune. That's what in tune means. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pull my clarinet out, make it a little flatter, so we can hear what it sounds like if you play that note flat. Let's check it out. All right, I had to squeeze pretty hard to get that to come into pitch. So I'm going to push my clarinet back to where I normally play it. And you'll notice, and I'm going to go over this later a little bit more specifically, I pull out a little bit here and a little bit here. That's how I do it. I think everybody that plays a buffet clarinet should do that. I'll tell you why a little bit later. All right, so let's hear that note right in tune. Terrific. Now I'm going to play an octave up. And how about one octave above that? Let's listen to that note played a little sharp. Sharp, and then I'm going to bring it down into tune. And now, flat into tune. Let's check that out. So you can hear clearly, flat's easier to hear than sharp, by the way. That is just a truism about music. One of the things that happens sometimes when you play it in an orchestra is this. We have a hard time talking about pitch in the classical music world. Oftentimes, there can be some frustration that comes along. And so what will happen is this. In the back row, clarinets and bassoons. In the front row, flutes and oboes. Just so you're aware how this can go. Sometimes it goes like this. You'll be sitting there playing your clarinet, and you'll be playing in tune with somebody. If it's not the flute and oboe, if there's some weird pitch things going on in the orchestra, they'll start to look at you like this. And if it's not fixed to their satisfaction based on that nonverbal communication, it'll look like this. You're sharp! It's really pleasant. So keep that in mind. Intonation is something that colleagues can sometimes get a little bit persnickety about, and everybody thinks they're right. And there's no way to prove anybody's right or wrong, because sometimes the orchestra can be in a lot of different places at once. Training our ears is going to really, really help us with that. So that's why we're doing this. I'm going to move this note up to the high C, and I'm going to play those same three Cs. We're going to see how differently that note resonates when we use a high note as our drone. So there's our high C. Let me put it a little sharp, see how that sounds. How about a little flat into tune? That didn't end very nice. Let me try that again. That was better. You can hear that when you're playing two high notes together, it's actually really easy to tell whether they're in tune or not. The tolerances are very close up the higher the notes that you get. It's very easy. It's very much easier to hear that. So that's something to keep in mind. We can practice tuning all sorts of different notes on an instrument, all of them, and as you get into the upper register, it becomes actually much easier to hear them. What happens, I'll let you in on this. I can go on forever about this. I won't in this video, but maybe I'll make a whole video where it's all I talk about. Every time we play two notes together, a third note comes out. I don't think it's going to get picked up on the microphone. I think it's a weird human ear sort of thing that happens that we can't replicate with microphones. I don't think we can hear it. But a third note comes out. And when we play certain intervals, that note will be in tune. I can't mathematically actually prove this, but my ears tell me it's true. When we play unison, a fourth or a fifth or an octave, that's going to be a resultant tone. That's what that note is called, a resultant tone that come out. A resultant tone that comes out in tune. So when you're doing this with a drone, you'll be able to hear that note. That's how you know you're in tune. If that note is resonating in tune, that's where the beats come from, right? Right, so that's how you know. Other intervals, seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths, they don't have that same consonance. when we play them. So they are harder to tell whether they are in tune. It takes a much more refined ear. But these perfect intervals, again, 1, 4, 5, octave, they will tell us if we are in tune because we'll be able to really, really hear it clearly. And that's the place to start here. All right, so now speaking of all that, I'm going to put a drone on and I'm going to play 1, 4, 5, and 1. So those notes for clarinet, these notes in C major for clarinet or any instrument is C, F, G, C. In case you're just getting going on this, I'll spell it out for you. C, number 1, D, E, F, number 4, 5 is G, A, B, C, number 8. So we've got 1, 4, 5, 8. Those are the notes we're going to play just to get this going. Let's check it out. Cool, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to try and play, actually, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to hang out on F and G so you can hear that interval and whether it's in tune or not. Let's check it out. So you can see in the meter whether it was sharp, whether it was flat. Listen to that. Get that sound in your ear so that you can make those adjustments for yourself. Because here's the magical thing that happens. If you can hear where you want your note to be, your body will just put it there. Your voice and your air will do all the right things if your ear leads you that way. And that's why we're doing this. To really be able to hear it, and I'm showing you so you can see it, so that you can identify that's flat, that's sharp, okay, I hear that going here and there. And you can hear those beats. And then you can hear it come into tune, and you hear it lock in there. And one of the things that they don't tell you about tone is that when your clarinet is in tune, your tone sounds better. It sounds more resonant. Everything about it sounds better. This is like the secret ingredient to like your tone really just opening up in context of playing music. Good. So now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put the tuner on a low C and a high C. So we have both notes happening. And now this is one of the special features of the Tonal Energy app. I don't know why every tuner and app doesn't do this, but they should. But as far as I know, Tonal Energy is the only one that does it. So let's use it because it's amazing. Buy it. Okay. And by the way, they don't know me. I emailed them a couple times and with specific questions and thoughts. And they kind of emailed me back like I was nuts, which I might be. But my point is, I'm shilling for them for nothing because this product is so good. They don't know me. They don't pay me. But you should pay them $4 for this. Okay. So I've got both notes happening now. Let's see how that feels to play C's, F's, G's, and C's. I'm going to do that again. And my G in above the staff was a little bit high. So I'm going to pull out even a little bit more than I am right there. A little bit more than I'd like. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to see how that impacts it. Because it wasn't far off, but further than I would like. Let's see what I can do here. I mean, I can get the note in the right place. I just had to move too much to do it. And that's really how intonation work really helps your tone. Is it helps you learn where to play so the notes fit where you want them to fit in, pitch-wise. That way we don't have to adjust pitch on any particular note too much. Because if we adjust the pitch on any of our notes too much, we lose the tone quality that we were already producing, and that note will sound like a different color, a different set of overtones than what you were playing before. And we want our clarinet to blend. We want it to really be even throughout the registers. And this is one of the ways that we can really, really make it happen. That we don't have to move too many of the notes too far. Otherwise, we're going to be making some different sounds. So we want to keep it all in that same tone color profile. All right, let's see if I made the right adjustment here. I'll live with that. You probably noticed that it made my... I'm going to move it just a little bit back because it made my C a little bit too flat, right? We can't really adjust our clarinet. We're finding sort of the happy medium for everything with where we put our clarinet. I will take pictures of where I put my clarinet, and I'll show you now. Bam, there they are. That's where I put my barrel, and that's where I put the space in between the middle joint. Cool. So now what I'd like to show you is like a scale pattern. There's two places you can find this. I mean, this is number 1 of the Krebs book in C major, has this pattern, but also a great clarinetist from a long time ago named Gaston Hamelin wrote a book, and this scale pattern is one of the main, maybe the main feature of it. It's a good scale pattern to know, do it in all the keys with your tuner. And by the way, the Krebs, here's a secret thing that I was told a long time ago by a genius. I wonder if that genius ever watches my videos. I don't know. We're still friends. Anyway, playing Krebs with a tuner incredibly slow is a great intonation exercise. We tend to play the Krebs books to build our fingers and build our technique, which is great, and you should do that. But also, we can really practice pitch with it. And let me show you how. I got my 2 notes. That's nice because what it does is it really allows us to hear the major and minor intervals. And when I say that, I mean D, E, A, and B. We can really hear how those notes fit in because those notes aren't really straight up and down in terms of how they fit in the scale. Let me let you in on something that you may know, you may not know, but let's actually dig into this. That exact idea. When we play chords, this gets into some theory-heavy stuff, so it takes a little bit of theory knowledge. If you don't have it, that's okay. Listen to the idea, and when you get that music theory in your life and in your brain, this will all make sense. We're gonna play a C major triad. We're gonna use our friend Tonal Energy because it can play all the notes, and we're gonna make a triad with it. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start out. We're gonna play the root. I'll play C. Tonal Energy is going to play E and G. So that's our major triad, C, E, and G. I'm going to play C, E, and G back here. Let's check it out. I'm going to play that again. Here's what I want you to check out. That's out of tune. What? My note was in tune. Tonal Energy's in tune. Here's the truth. When you play 3 exactly in tune notes as a major triad, it's going to be out of tune. And it's because the way nature works is that middle note, that E, actually needs to be 13 cents flat. I haven't told you about cents. Cents is the unit by how we talk about sharpness or flatness. 13 cents flat. That's basically to this little triangle on the left. That's where we need to aim that. Here's what we're going to do. Tonal energy is going to play C and G, and I am going to play the third, and I'm going to put it real flat. I'm going to start with it where it goes, and then I'm going to bring it down so we can hear that chord coming into tune. You'll hear it goes from the beats that we just heard to, wow, a real consonance. Let's check it out. Did you hear how much better that sounded when that note was very, very flat? That's another one of the things that we need to do learning pitch, is learning that we can move these notes, and we have to move these notes if we're going to play them in tune, according to nature, which is significantly different. If you haven't seen it, there's this guy on YouTube, not me, that makes incredible videos. His name is Adam Neely. He's incredible. And I would suggest checking him out. But he made one about resultant tones and how this all works, that he understands it at a level that is far more than me. I only know when I play it, it needs to go a certain place, and then it sounds in tune. I don't use fancy math to figure that out. I use my ears. But it can be proven with fancy math, and he does it. And there's a lot of information about resultant tones and how they work, and it's fascinating. But it's much like this. If you're playing outfield for the New York Yankees, and someone hits a fly ball, you can tell where it's going to land because you've got instincts. And you run to that spot, and you catch the ball. And it's those instincts that make you a great baseball player. When that ball gets hit, you don't grab a piece of paper and start doing math to figure out where it's going to land. You actually just use your intuition. You see the arc, and then you go to where you know it's going to end, and you catch the ball. Sounds easy. Obviously, it's not. But it's just the same as playing music. Like, you hear where that note needs to go, and you put it there. You can't necessarily mathematically prove that it needs to be there. Well, I guess you could, but you don't have time to do that because you're playing music. So you just play it there. And don't worry about the math. And so that's pretty much it. I think that when it comes to this advanced idea of playing with multiple drones, which really I only know how to do with tonal energy, and it really helps me to have this microphone clipped to my bell. So that way I can actually read what's actually happening pitch-wise, because it's not always exactly what you think. To get it to sound good, it's not always doesn't look like what you think it might, and it's good to have a sense of all that. So I'm going to go ahead and play. I'm going to play that same scale pattern from the Kretsch, from number 1, and I'm going to do it in a couple different keys so we can hear it. Now up 1 octave, that same pattern. even as I do this, I think to myself, am I going to really put this on a video because I'm so out of tune? It's frustrating. And I don't think it ever goes away. And that's one of the things about the challenges of clarinet playing is that if you approach a note from a note underneath, sometimes you land in a different place than when you come from down above. The clarinet has all sorts of weird pitch idiosyncrasies. All this is true. And the only way to sort of really dig into it and make real progress is to get this specific about it, as far as I'm concerned. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any creative pitch and tuning rituals, I'd love to hear them. I'm very into it, and I by no means mean that this is all anybody should do. There's probably more. All right, bye.